What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So let's talk about Batman. We all know the guy, right? Brooding billionaire, punches bad guys in the face. But there's one title he has that sometimes feels a little underused. I'm talking about the world's greatest detective. I mean, think about it. How many Batman stories have you read that are just massive citywide brawls versus stories where he's actually, detecting things? Don't get me wrong, I love a good action-packed story like Nightfall as much as the next person. But sometimes I want to see Batman use that big brain of his. Well, the good folks over at DC, listing 10 of the best Batman detective stories that might have flown under your radar. We're talking about stories that aren't just the usual suspects like The Long Halloween or Hush. These are some deep cuts. So today, we're going to dive into that list, break them down, and talk about why they make Batman truly live up to his title. Grab a snack, get comfortable, because this is going to be a fun one. All right, let's kick things off with our number 10, The Many Deaths of the Batman. You can find this in Batman issues 333 to 335. Now, the premise alone is just wild. People all over Gotham start turning up dead, and they're all dressed in Batman costumes. Can you imagine that? Batman has to hit the streets to solve the mystery of his own repeated murder. It's such a cool psychological concept. This story is from the post-crisis era, written and drawn by the legendary John Byrne. It really sets a dark, gritty tone. And the article points out something I totally agree with. You can see the seeds of Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight movie right here. That whole idea of copycats and what Batman's symbol means to the city, for good and for bad, it's all in this comic. It's a great place to start if you want a classic, boots-on-the-ground mystery. Coming in at number 9, we have a real mind-bender. It's called Mask, from Legends of the Dark Knight issues 39 and 40. This one is different. The mystery isn't whodunit. The mystery is Batman himself. He gets captured and is elaborately gaslit into believing his entire life as Batman, the whole crime-fighting crusade, is just a delusion, a fantasy he made up in his sick mind. So, trapped in this mental prison, Batman has to use his detective skills not on clues in the outside world, but on his own mind to prove to himself that his reality is real. It's a super intense psychological thriller and shows that being a detective is about logic and deduction, even when your own sanity is the case you have to crack. Next up at number 8 is a short but powerful story called Perpetual Mourning. This one's from the first issue of Batman Black and White. If you've never checked out the Black and White series, you are seriously missing out. They're collections of short stories by all these amazing all-star creators. And this one? It's the perfect example. It has this incredible neo-noir feel, almost like a classic detective film from the 40s. It's even narrated by Jim Gordon, which gives it that same vibe as Batman Year One. It's a haunting, atmospheric story about Batman tackling a case that feels grounded and real. It's so good, they even turned it into an official motion comic you can watch online. It's a perfect little bite-sized piece of detective noir. All right, for number 7, we've got one with a really unique twist. It's called Blink, and it ran in Legends of the Dark Knight. Now, this is the only story on the list that involves a superpower. It's written by the late great Dwayne McDuffie, a true legend in the industry. The story introduces us to a blind man named Lee Highland, who has the metahuman ability to see through the eyes of the last person or animal he touched. So you can imagine how that would be useful in a murder investigation, right? Batman ends up teaming up with this guy to solve mysteries that he can't crack alone. It's such a cool dynamic, seeing the world's greatest detective who relies on his own skills and senses, having to partner with someone who has this incredible, almost supernatural insight. It makes you wish McDuffie had written 100 more of these. Cruising into the number 6 spot is a story that the article calls the most underrated on this list, and I think they might be right. It's Dead Reckoning from Detective Comics issues 777 to 782. This one is written by Ed Brubaker, who is without a doubt one of the best crime comic writers of our generation. Seriously, if you've read his independent work like Criminal, you know this guy is the real deal. And here he brings all of that talent to Gotham. The mystery starts with the body of a criminal found in a killer moth costume, and from there, Batman follows the trail deep into the city's corrupt underbelly. It's a classic procedural that takes him through a who's who of Gotham's rogues gallery. If you love stories like The Long Halloween, you absolutely have to read Dead Reckoning. It deserves to be mentioned right alongside it. Okay, halfway through. At number 5, we have one of my personal favorite concepts ever, Enigma Consulting Detective. Found in Detective Comics issue 822, this story comes from Paul Dini's fantastic run. The premise is just chef's kiss. The Riddler has supposedly gone straight. He's given up his life of crime. But he can't just turn his brain off, right? So what does he do? He becomes a private detective, and he makes it his mission to vex Batman by solving crimes before he can. They become these unwilling rivals, and in this issue, they're actually forced to team up. It's a battle of wits, not fists. Seeing Batman and the Riddler work together, playing to their strengths, is so good. It's a dynamic you never knew you needed. At 4 is a story that asks a really interesting question. What does Batman do on a slow night? No Joker gas, no citywide threat, just a regular Tuesday. That's what Work That's Never Done from Batman Confidential is all about. Batman responds to a 911 call about a murdered family that the police are stumped on. This isn't about saving the world. It's about getting justice for one family, for their surviving daughter. It's a deeply personal and humanizing story. It cuts right to the core of why he does what he does, to protect that helpless child that he once was. This is what being Batman is all about, and the detective work here feels incredibly intimate and important. Now, for our top 3. Coming in at number 3 is Batman: Death by Design. This is a full-length graphic novel by Chip Kidd, who's a famous graphic designer and Batman historian. This story is super unique because the mystery is all tied into the world of architecture and the very structure of Gotham City itself. The article describes it as Hitchcockian, which is a perfect word for it. It's a thriller that feels grand and stylish, and the stark black and white art is just gorgeous. It treats Gotham not just as a setting, but as an active character in the mystery, with secrets built into its very foundations. The runner-up at number 2 is Batman: The Man Who Laughs. Okay, so the story of Batman's first encounter with the Joker has been told a bunch of times, but this version by Ed Brubaker and Doug Mahnke is special because it frames the whole thing as a detective story. It's not just about their first fight, it's about Batman trying to figure out what the heck this new threat even is. Who is this guy? What does he want? Batman is collecting clues, following a dark trail, and using all of his sleuthing skills to try and understand the chaotic nature of his greatest enemy. It's the investigation that forms the foundation for their entire relationship for decades to come. An absolutely essential read. And finally, at number 1 on the list, a comic that's happening right now. It's called Batman: Dark Patterns. This is a 12-issue series that presents a new spine-tingling mystery every 3 issues. It's set early in Batman's career, and it really throws him into the deep end, forcing him to think outside the box as he confronts some of Gotham's darkest urban legends. It has that classic Legends of the Dark Knight feel, just one weird, challenging case after another. The article mentions we're in the final arc right now, so it is the perfect time to head to your local comic shop, grab the back issues, and get caught up. It's awesome to see a modern comic run so focused on the detective aspect of Batman. So there you have it, 10 incredible Batman stories that really let him earn that title of world's greatest detective. From psychological thrillers to noir mysteries and procedural crime stories, this list proves there's more to Batman than just punching his way out of a problem. What do you guys think? What are your favorite Batman detective stories? Are there any hidden gems that this list missed? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next one.